welcome to Easy Mind, Easy Life. So, how have you been? It's been a few days since I've made any videos. I'm just waiting for inspiration, for messages to come through of what they want to talk about with you. Today I get this really strong message to ask you, what are your fears? Let me know in the comments, and as the weeks progress I will work through these fears with you. So in a previous video I had talked about the fear of death that was very prominent in my family, and it was funny because in that video that I was talking to you I had this real aha moment of why that was so prevalent in my house, why it was so such a predominant background, like this fear of death all the time, fear of death. And it really had to do with my mum losing her parents at such a young age, at the age of 5, which is quite devastating to a child, to have lost both of your parents. You lose it's your whole world, at that age. So that was a fear that I had for a really long time that wasn't even mine, because when I was young, I had a curiosity about death. I wanted to know about it, but it wasn't something that I was afraid of until I had been in that environment long enough that it became a conditioned fear, So I think today that's the way this is all headed. There's going to be a lot of talking of conditioning, of living in an environment where the same pattern is repeated over and over and over again. The same words are repeated over and over again. And how to break free, from all of that. I think one of the most important things is to actually sit with the belief or the judgment or whatever it is that you're holding on to, and to really think about, where did this come from? Was I born with it? Because I remember one day having this huge awareness that we're not born with judgment. Judgment is something that we learn to do. We learn to judge things around us. We're not born with judgment. It's not something innate in us. It's something we learn as we're growing up, watching the grown-ups around us. We're watching the environment. We're studying what's going on. And this is where we pick up judgment. We learn how to judge and how it works, and we, judge all day, this, that, the other, right? This is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. We have judgments about everything. And I remember one day sitting down and thinking, I don't like a single thought in my head. This was before I started the book, Your Past is a Gift. I just remember sitting there thinking, I don't like a single thought. I didn't like any of the fears that were constantly running through my mind. I didn't like any of the chatter that was going on. I was just so fed up with the conversations I was having in my head, right? The constant and the repetitive conversations, the ones that kept repeating, that weren't making me feel good in any way, So today I, invite you to look at the conversations you're having in your head, the fears that are going on in your head, and really start, if you can, put it down on paper. There's something about writing it down and looking at it that is different to just sitting with it in your head, right? You write it down and you look at it, because what happens is when you've written it down, like I did with that book, where every single memory was accounted for and every single memory was looked at, all of a sudden what happens is it's on a piece of paper in front of you, and you are now observing that as an outsider. It's outside of you on the piece of paper. You're looking at it as an outsider. You're observing. You have become the observer of these thoughts. And for me, the most important moment, I think, was to realize that, wow, 99% of the thoughts in my head are not mine. I would never have chosen these thoughts, right? The thoughts of, I'm not worthy. Why would anybody want to choose that? I'm not good enough. You know, why would I choose that? Why would I want to be constantly thinking I'm not good enough for whatever, right? Whether it's I'm not good enough to be loved, I'm not good enough to whatever it is, because you could have an infinite list of things that you're not good enough to have or to be or to do or whatever, right? And so it came down to when I did start writing every single memory and I started to look at it from the outside, and you start to realize how much of what you judge and what you believe was actually passed down by the people around you, whether it was the teachers at school. You know, did you have a teacher that made you feel like you were stupid and were incapable of learning? You know? I find school a really funny subject because school only has a handful of subjects to learn, right? So how can that cover the whole population? How can that interest the whole population when we're all different? We all have different talents. We all have different gifts. Not all of us are going to enjoy doing maths. Not all of us are going to enjoy doing English or whatever language belongs to where we are. Not all of us are going to enjoy, I don't know what other subjects they do now at school, but seriously, there's only like a handful of subjects, right? There might be 5 or 6 main things that children learn at school. But there are thousands and thousands of jobs to do after school. You know, where's all the skills for that? Where's all the learning for that, you know? For all the activities, all the possibilities of what we can do when we finish school. Because that's what we're there. We're learning all these things, but when we finish school. But not everyone is interested in going to university to have a degree, to become a doctor or a lawyer, a dentist or a veterinarian or whatever it is that you go to university for. So out of those 5 subjects at school, if you're not good at them, if you don't like them, if you're not interested, because to me that's what it comes down to, you're just not interested in any of those subjects, right? They're boring to you because that's not what you came for. You have your own set of gifts, your own set of talents. And not everyone is going to be gifted and talented at maths. Not everyone is gifted and talented at English. Not everyone is gifted and talented at science. I think they're still teaching at school. So, you know, in a class where there might be 20 students, there might be 3 or 4 that really enjoy some of those subjects, because not even all of those subjects, right? They might enjoy 2 or 3 of those subjects out of the 5. And then the rest of the class is left with, they're the ones that are labeled incapable of learning because they're just not interested. It's not that they can't learn it, it's just that they don't want to. They're not interested. It's that simple. It has nothing to do with your capacity. And yet, if a teacher at school makes you feel that you are incapable of learning, that you weren't good enough to learn the subjects at school, you've already taken on that you are stupid, that you can't learn. You're not intelligent. You see how we come up with all these beliefs? You know, all day long we're creating beliefs, we're creating all these judgments about ourselves, about the world, about everything. And they're so not true about who you are, because if you were at school learning a subject that you truly had a passion for, say they had music at school, you know, say they had art, say they had sewing skills, you know, for people who want to get into designing and fashion and all those sorts of things. Computers, I mean, you know, a lot of high schools don't even have proper computer classes, you know, for those who want to go on and do programming or whatever, you know, you can do with computers. So, you know, I find it incredible that you spend so much time of your childhood in these classes learning things that for at least 90%, I would say, of children just totally not interested. And yet out of there you get all these beliefs of, oh yes, I'm intelligent, or I'm smart because I can cope with these 5 subjects, or oh, I must be stupid because I can't learn these subjects. Has nothing to do with the fact that you just have no interest in them. So you couldn't give a fig, whether 2 + 2 = 4. You just don't care because you weren't here to be a mathematician. You weren't here to pursue that. That is not your soul's purpose. Your soul came here to have a different experience. It's not interested in maths. It's got nothing to do with what you came to do. So today is really looking at our thoughts, looking at our beliefs, our judgments, where they all came from. I had a really beautiful vision yesterday, and in the next video I want to go into that. I fixed my settings on the camera, by the way, because it kept defaulting to the 4K, and then my poor computer can't deal with it. So I've made the default in the HD now, so my computer goes, yay, hurrah, we're all on the same page. All right. I love you dearly, my darlings, and remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages, and I'll see you in the next video for more about judgments and beliefs and why are we here.